The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays, find bets in the new Explore tab, make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/stream and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 plus and present in Virginia. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Aubrey Sherrod joins us on the hotline. Former Shocker great, former Heights great. How many times can I use the word great, Aubrey?
Well, I guess many times you won't, Bob. It's no worries now. How you doing, Jeff?
Been, first of all, it's been a little while. How you doing? How you surviving
Pretty
the cold
good.
here?
Yeah. It's okay. I'm staying inside, trying to avoid that coldness outside. So looking forward to better weather, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little frigid. So let's get your take. Once a Shocker, always a Shocker. Once a Falcon, always a Falcon. So first, your take on Wichita State basketball. They've hit a rough patch here in Paul Mill's first season. We talked at length about them yesterday. I think they're missing floor leadership. That's their number one thing, I think, that I see them missing. What are your thoughts so far on Wichita State basketball?
Yeah, I can echo what you're saying as far as floor leadership and Xavier Bell and Kobe Rogers and Kenny Poto. Those guys with the experience from the Shocker from the past, someone needs to step up and be able to lead the team out of this slump there. And they're struggling as a team totally. And hopefully we can find a way to get those guys to play together, and hopefully they can find a way to get themselves out of this situation they're in right now.
Sometimes I don't enunciate well. I was talking about their floor leadership instead of just leadership as a whole. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who the leaders are on the Shockers.
Yeah, I think, Bob, in a situation like that, when you don't know who the leader is, someone has to step up. And sometimes I can just kind of relate back to our era where you can lead by example or you can lead by someone who's vocal. And we had guys like Xavier and Antoine and Cliff and Antoine Carr and the other guys on our team, James Bug-Eye Gibbs. They led by just playing hard and playing together. And when you in a situation like they're in right now, in this 4-game losing streak, you have to have someone verbally to step up and find a way to get themselves out of it. And it starts really in practice, and it starts with them willing to make the sacrifice as a team to realize, hey, when we are in a tough situation right now, and we're in this tough situation as far as we need a great basket or we need a situation where we need to get a team or get a player involved, we have to sacrifice as a team and get the ball to a certain player when you're struggling like this.
What do you think, Aubrey, that the message, I don't know who it would come from necessarily, but how I guess do you think the fans should be feeling about this? I know a lot of people are itching for a return to glory. There have been 2+ now years of kind of being down, not as good as expected with in the past personnel that are now in the NBA, 3 guys. So, you know, what would you tell fans? Is it right to still preach patience with a group of fans that's not being patient because it's a first-year coach, or how would you even address that?
It's a combination of fans being patient, and we are having turnover. We just lost IB just recently as a head coach, and now we turn over a new coach and Coach Mills, and he got to implement his system in, and he got to get his players in through whether it's transfer portal or going out recruiting. So it's a combination of being patient, and you're right about what we have been spoiled as fans in the glory days of Coach Marshall and making it to the NCAA tournament and then making it to the Final Four in 2013. So we're at a different stage right now as a fan, but the key right now is when we are at this adversity time, you still need the fan support. So hopefully the fans can continue to come out and support the team, and hopefully coming up this Sunday against Memphis, they can come in and maybe support the fans, support the players, and hopefully get out of this slump right now. But it takes a combination of things to get this back on track.
Aubrey Sherrod, our guest, one of the great scorers and players in Wichita State basketball history. So you mentioned some of your teammates, and it's a who's who. X, Cliff, Antoine, others. If NIL had existed in your day, how many of those players could Wichita State have held on to for the 4 years that all of you played there? Well, except for Cliff, who played 2, I believe.
Yeah, 2 years, 3 years. It's hard to say, Bob, because now with NIL and players wanting to play immediately and opportunities out there for other university to more likely poach the players. And you can have situations where even you see today where certain players are not satisfied with their playing time, or they might feel like they don't fit in a certain situation as they were at the beginning of their careers in college. So it's kind of hard to project what would have happened back in the days, but I think with our coaching staff we had with Coach Smithson and Coach Shore and Coach Jones and the community that supported us back in the day, I think, Bob, we probably would have found a way to keep all our players there. And plus, we were in a very unique situation when I played with those guys we just mentioned. That one thing I've always tell people when we have these conversations that we all had our different personalities, but the one thing about it was when we showed up at 7:30 at night, we put aside our own selfish personal goals and we played unselfishly. Now, sometimes regrettably, we hope that people like Antoine and X could have been a little bit more aggressive because they were so physically talented than most of the players, but more likely we all played together and we all got along with each other. And I thought that was really the key back in those days to that success we had, that we knew what our roles were and we played it very well. We played at a high level.
How do you look at NIL, Aubrey, from a personal standpoint? Do you look at it as, you were part of an era where, the game was growing a lot and, but maybe by the time you were out of school that the NCAA tournament was really starting to gain a major foothold or all over TV and things like that? Or do you feel like you missed out by not getting some of those opportunities for NIL and other things?
I think, Jeff, that I don't feel like I missed out because we're all born at a certain time in our lives. So sometimes in life you just have to deal with what you have at that certain moment. But as far as opportunities, I think it's great for finally the players actually getting a piece of the pie. I mean, I think the one untold story still is that with the TV contracts, whether it's football or whether it's basketball, Dylan, in our conference, AAC, we're only exclusively basketball as far as Wichita State, that the players are still not being compensated as far as with TV packages. So if they can find a way, I think personally, if we really want to start to be fair, just double the stipend for everybody across the board. I think that might be a start of not having so much transfer portal and a lot of people making second decisions to go to another school. Now, granted, with the exception with the great players, as you know, whether it's in football, you hear stories about football players getting $1 million or $2 million, and well-earned and well-deserved. But to keep a balance of the other players and the other student athletes, I think they should start out with just trying to double the stipend. I think that was put a hold a little bit on the transfer portal.
Visiting with Aubrey Sherrod here on the Bob and Jeff Show. So we talked a lot about Wichita State and NIL. Let's go back to your more formative years at Heights High School, where you were a 3-year standout, became a McDonald's All-American, one of the leading scorers in City League history. With all that you accomplished in basketball, how many of your memories are traced back to those years at Heights, Aubrey?
Very much so, Bob, as far as me being a hometown guy and having support from my family and my friends here locally and still having contact with some of the former players I played with. in the past in high school, and we still hang out every once in a while. And as a matter of fact, one of my high school teammates, Harold Pitts, who was a point guard for us, and Greg Davis, who went to Wichita Heights and then transferred to Capon to play with Greg Dryling. We're probably going to go to a couple of Wichita State basketball games like we normally do every year, every once in a while. So I still have those contact memories with those guys. And it still stings, Bob, believe it or not making it to the state my sophomore year and then losing to South High by 2 points my senior year. So even though it was 40-plus years ago, you always remember those tough losses and what could have been with the teams we had. But I still definitely enjoy those conversations we do have every once in a while about our past and playing at Wichita Heights back in those days.
Well, please don't give me up as a friend after I mention what I'm about to mention. I think the most shocking result I heard during my years at the Wichita Eagle were when you guys lost to Topeka when you were a sophomore and Antoine was a senior. That team looked like it was going to win the state championship, and you got bounced out in the sub-state. Sorry to bring that up, Aubrey. I knew that was a bad decision the minute I started talking about it.
No, Bob, but one thing about being a former player, that if you listen to most of the stories, people in general never talk about their success as far as winning. It's always about those tough losses, and I can really remember that. So that does not bother me. And you have those conversations with people in the past, and you have rivalry who bring up things like the South High rivals, and they remember when they win, and they bring it up and say, hey, we beat you guys. And what can you say? Say, hey, you won. You move on.
We're so far removed from those years now. It's amazing how time just passes. You know, I talk to people all the time. I'm a 69-year-old man now. I talk to people about those years of City League basketball. It's hard to even describe how good this league was at that time because every team had really good players. There were no teams that you thought, oh, we can win this one easily. It was a battle, truly a battle, every night, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It was definitely not a day off as far as playing from Capon to Carroll to Northwest to anyone, North High, you can name it. And every Tuesday and Friday were definitely a battle in front of pack houses and very exciting. And you're right, it was just tough back in those days. And we produced a lot of major college players and guys that went on to play JUCO ball too. So very highly competitive and very talented players we played back in the era.
Aubrey, I always enjoy talking with you. It's fun to catch up. We appreciate it. We'll get you on again soon and see how the Shockers fare here in the next month or so.
All right. Thank you guys for having me.
The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays, find bets in the new Explore tab, make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/stream and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 plus and present in Virginia. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
A new year is full of surprises, but one thing is always predictable. Postage costs go up. Stamps.com gives you crazy discounts of up to 89% off USPS and UPS services. So when postage goes up, your business will barely notice the change. Stamps.com is like your own personal post office, wherever you are. You can even take care of orders on the go with the mobile app. No lines, no traffic, no waiting. Schedule package pickups, automatically find the cheapest and fastest shipping options, and seamlessly connect with every major marketplace and shopping cart. There's even a supply store where you can stock up on mailing supplies, labels, even printers. Stamps.com has been indispensable for over 1 million businesses just like yours. All you need is a computer or phone and printer. Take a chunk out of your mailing and shipping costs this year with Stamps.com. Sign up with promo code PROGRAM for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. That's Stamps.com, code PROGRAM.